how it's happened, but I'll give you my take on it, right? We've never talked about mental health more before, yet somehow we've become weaker because instead of building emotional strength, we've built a culture that rewards emotional fragility. We've made it normal to break down over minor inconveniences. We've convinced people that if something makes them uncomfortable, it must be harmful. We've created a world where feelings aren't just acknowledged, they're treated like the absolute truth. And we know that feelings are not facts. And here's what that looks like in real life. Discomfort is mistaken for danger. If a conversation makes you uneasy, it must be toxic. If a person challenges you, they must be unsafe. If a situation feels hard, it must be harming you. Boundaries are also being used as walls. Instead of learning how to have difficult conversations, we
Good point.
shut people out completely. Instead of addressing issues, we disappear and call it self preservation or I'm protecting my peace or my mental health.
I've heard
Struggle
that.
is now being labeled as a crisis. We've also blurred the lines between real hardship and normal life challenges. And instead of navigating stress, we call everything overwhelming. Instead of working through difficulties, we assume that we're just burnt out. We protect feelings over growth. And instead of asking, what is this
Mhm.
teaching me? We ask, how do I make this stop? Instead of allowing emotions to come and go, we obsess over them like they define us. We've created a mindset where people believe that emotions should be protected instead of processed. Life isn't going to tiptoe around you. The world isn't going to adjust itself to your emotional needs.
I gotta admit, she was cooking. I like that. That was a very smart approach to look at that situation, which is our current emotional state as it relates to I don't want to say America only, but just as America as a whole. So let's jump into the comments section and see what they had to say. All right, let's go. People use emotions to manipulate others, breaking down just to get their way. We see this a lot. That's why some people break down over minor inconveniences. They're forcing the outcome to match their desires. Facts don't matter to them, only their feelings and their way, even if it doesn't make sense. If they don't want to talk about something, they might manipulate others into believing it's toxic to bring it up. Wow. Good gracious. If they want to avoid doing something, they might say, hold on, my screen just popped up. They might say it's dangerous or they're afraid. It seems less about therapy and more about people who use emotional expression as a tool to manipulate. That sentence right there is that should be on a t-shirt. And control. Probably the emotionally restraint one one's cause. Wait, probably the emotionally restraint one's cause. They hate emotions unless they can benefit from them. Probably the emotional restraint. That sentence doesn't make sense. I think she's trying to say basically people don't like the emotionally resilient because they can't unless they can benefit from it. That's what I think she's trying to say. But no, that was a great comment. Excellent, excellent comment. And let's go see if there's some more over here in these old comment streets. The liberals are going to say she's toxic because she's hitting on them on all cylinders. The God's honest truth. Society now. This also speaks a lot of people with the victim mentality. Dang, I agree 100%. Oh, I read those two right there. The liberals are going to say she's toxic because she's hitting on all cylinders with a God's honest truth society now. This also speaks a lot of people with victim mentality. Dang, she's correct. Check mark. We have created more emotional crutches. I agree with her to an extent. There is a fine line. And I think everybody can agree to that. I don't think anybody would say there's no emotional issues ever. You never deal with something emotionally. I don't think anybody's saying that. So shout out to that comment for sure. All right, let's see what we got. She's cooking with Crisco. They still use Crisco nowadays. I didn't know that. I have not used Crisco or even seen Crisco in a long time. Shout out to Crisco. All right, last one. Spot on statement. There's no doubt, no lie from me at all. That was right on the money.
Exactly.
She was cooking.
Sure.
Oh, sorry about that. But is there something we can learn from this? Absolutely, man. And she said it like we instead of asking how can I get better at this or how can I overcome this, is how can I get rid of it? I might be misquoting her, but the end goal is how is this process making me better versus I just want it to stop. And that's a problem because anything worth doing is going to be a struggle. There's going to be struggle in life. It's not always, you shouldn't be fighting every day from the day you're born to the day you die, but there is going to be struggle. There are going to be challenges, so on and so forth. Life is just like that. And that's the way the sinful world that we live in is. There's no other way around that. Now, ultimately, our faith and trust is in God that the issues that I'm faced with, the issues that are confronting me are ultimately for my good and shaping me and molding me and sanctifying me into the image of Christ. That's ultimately my hope and desire. And again, sometimes they're pretty rough. Sometimes things are tough. If you've lived long enough, you've probably had some kind of level of suffering. Is not to say that we just want it to stop, but what is it? How has it shaped me and molded me into a better man, into a better woman, more like Christ? That should be our issue. That should be our question. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support and for subscribing, helping us get closer to our goal of 50,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you all soon. So until next time, everyone, grace and peace.